I think I say in every single video that before I hit record, I have everything in my head perfectly. I know exactly what I want to say. And then as soon as I hit record, I'm like, I'm so dumb. Welcome back to my channel. I don't know why it's so hard for me to say that. I can't make it come out of my mouth. Today is Wednesday, October 23rd, 2019. A little bit different of a setup. I was hoping it would be even more different and better, but that didn't quite happen. So I'm working with what I have, doing the best I can. Last time, well, I've tried to film twice since today, actually 3 times since today, and every time it was just not working out. I was tired of never having a good setup for my phone, never being able, always having to hold my phone, or so I kind of got fed up and I was like, well, maybe it would be better to just invest in an actual camera instead of my phone, because I know the audio sucks. That's my biggest thing. Every time I watch these videos back, I'm always like, what is this bitch saying? I can't hear you. So I'm like, maybe I should just go ahead and get a real camera. Sorry, I'm going to try and find my notes while I'm talking. Yeah, here they are. So I went to my husband, and I mean, we pretty much discuss all our purchases with each other because we don't have a lot of money. We don't make a lot of money. Just that's the way it is. Like I don't dance around that fact. I don't sugarcoat it. Like, we don't make a lot of money. He works in a high school cafeteria. I'm a maid. I do house cleaning. So not bringing in a ton of money. Like, we're not struggling, but we do have to be conscious of the money that we spend and what we spend it on. And so I went to him and I was like, I'm really thinking, and he's really good at like technical stuff, like gadgets and technology. He's a lot better than I am, and he has the patience to do research on stuff that I just don't have the patience for that. So I was like, I really think I wanna get a real camera. And he real quick, like, he was half joking, half serious, but he was like, you ain't getting nothing. He's like, look, you have a Nikon, a DSLR that you never touch, that he bought me. Gosh, that was like our first Christmas, so almost 13 years ago. And in my defense, I did touch it for a really long time because I was really into photography. And I enjoy photography a lot, but then, just life and depression got really bad, and I kind of completely lost interest in almost everything that I once enjoyed doing. So, but that's a different rabbit hole that I can't go down right now. He's like, you have that camera that you never touch, and I think that camera does have a video function on it. I don't know how to use it, and I don't know where the charger for it is right now. I found the charger a couple months ago, and it has again since disappeared. So maybe I'll look into that once, if I ever find the charger. Um, He's like, I bought you that. I bought you a Nintendo 3DS, which you never play, which is true. I never play it. And he's like, I bought you your keyboard, which you never play. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting. And he's like, and I bought you a necklace that you never wear. And I was like, okay, I get it. I got the point. And of course, I was like, look, if I want it, I'm just going to buy it. Like, I don't need your permission type of thing. But I do respect, what he's saying. And I'm like, okay, maybe right now it's not the time to invest in a camera. So I felt so bad after he said that. Again, he was like kind of just giving me a hard time, but he's right. Like, there's been some pretty major purchases made that I'm not using. So you know, I don't really deserve a camera right now, and that's fine. Um, but I felt so bad, so guilty, and even like I actually had trouble sleeping because it was like I felt like he was really disappointed in me. I felt like a complete failure. Who is that? Sorry, I just got a message. I'm just gonna leave it up because I don't want to touch it and accidentally stop the video. Um, Nobody ever messages me, especially on Facebook. That's when I'm like, who the hell is that? So I felt so bad, so guilty that I actually got up at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep, and I went and I put on this necklace, the necklace that he gave me for my birthday last year, because like we're not really gift giving people. Again, we're always like, well, that money could be used for something else, so not going to like we don't like he didn't give me anything for my birthday this year. He didn't give me anything for Christmas last year. I got him stuff for Christmas last year. Like it's kind of like if we're in the mood to buy each other a gift, we'll buy each other a gift, but it's not an all the time thing. So with that, so now that I've been wearing this necklace every single day, and it's just something that keeps me, it brings me back in focus, and every time I feel like I'm losing my mind and going crazy, it kind of helps me remember what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and what's most important. So let's get into a big update. This is going to be a long video, I already know that. So, like I mentioned, I tried to make a couple videos before, and they just weren't working out. Oh, and that led to, I didn't even tell you the most important part of that whole spiel, which is my husband was actually very, like, he was like, why don't you get, because I was complaining about my phone. I said, you know, I'm trying to do these videos. I don't think they're very great to watch. I know I'm very boring and plain, and I don't do anything fancy in my videos, which is fine. My personality is probably not the greatest, which is, you know, fine. But I'm just so annoyed with not having something to you know, at least hold my phone and have something not block the microphone so you can hear me a little bit better. And I was like, do you think we could make something, like make a homemade tripod out of coat hangers, which I did actually do that at first, like something that can just hold my phone for me. And he was like, well, why don't you get one of those like suction cup phone holders that people have, you know, in their cars. Usually they put them on their windshield or whatever. And he's like, and then you can just suction cup it to wherever and it'll hold your phone for you. And I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. And I kind of stored it in the back of my head, like, okay, I need to look into that. And then the other day, my husband was like, I ordered a couple of things off of Amazon, I ordered this, I ordered that, and he was like, and I ordered a thing for your phone. And I was like, you're just the sweetest. And it's not, he said it was the cheapest one with the best, but it had really good reviews. It was only about $10 and it's working perfectly. Like I just suction cupped it to my window. Did I mention I have the curtain behind me? I don't know if I said that. I meant to say that. So I know that's dumb, but I thought it was better than just looking at my wreck of a house. Okay, so that was the whole point of talking about like not being able to get the resolution of not being able to get the camera and this and that. So I am trying to make my videos a little bit better to, you know, anyway, I'm just trying to make them a little bit better. So the last time I tried to film a video, not including this past Monday, but the time before that was on October 10th. And that day was significant for me because 10/10/2020, I will be walking down the aisle in one of my very best friend's wedding. And I am so excited for this wedding. Like, I usually don't get, sorry, I have an itch. I usually don't get excited about stuff like that. I mean, I love weddings. I'm always I always get, teary-eyed, and I'm kind of a romantic person. So I always just feel really genuinely happy at weddings, but I'm also a very self-conscious person, and sorry, my nose is itching me. Okay. I'm a very self-conscious person, and I don't know. I always feel ugly. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't really like I don't do parties. I don't really go out. Like, I'm not a very social person. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not a very social person. I don't really like going to events where there's a whole bunch of people, and I do feel very self-conscious, and I can't quite interact with people like I feel like I should. I'm very standoffish. So anyway, so I generally am like I'm happy to go to a wedding, but not really looking forward to being amongst a bunch of people, um, being pressured to dance, stuff like that. This wedding, I am so looking forward to, and I am ready to dance. I am ready to just have a great time. Um, I have two best friends, me, my friend Jessica, my friend Stacy. My friend Stacy is the one who's getting married. My friend Jessica and we all started hanging out together around 2008. I won't get into the whole backstory of how we all know each other, but Stacy and Jessica knew each other, and I knew Jessica, and we all started hanging out together in 2008, and we've been very close ever since. Jessica married her husband in 2007, and I started seeing my husband. We weren't married yet, but I started seeing him in 2006. So by the time that we all started hanging out together, Jessica and I were both in serious committed relationships, and Stacy was always kind of the unlucky in love one. Like, she dated, she had one boyfriend, and that didn't work out. And then she saw this other guy, and that didn't work out. And then she was with another guy, and they were together like 4 or 5 years, and we thought that was the real deal. And then he ended up cheating on her, which was awful. And so she's just always she's me and Jessica again have always had somebody, and she's always been the one who could not find like that good steady relationship. And then she met her fiance Patrick, and he's wonderful. And I've never met two people who are more compatible than them, and they just have so much in common. And he just got his PhD in psychology. Like, he's got a career ahead of him. um they have, again, so much in common. They do stuff together all the time, so I am just like over the moon happy for her. So me and Jessica and another one of her friends are all going to be bridesmaids in her wedding. And I've never been in a wedding before. So I'm really, really, really excited, and I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait. But it was like, when it came to actually the day, like 10/10, that day, and I was like, I have a year to go, I was like, I need to lose weight. Like, I'm sorry to be that person. I'm sorry to go there, but I was like, I cannot walk down the aisle at my best friend's wedding, squeezed into some bridesmaid's dress. Like, I'm like, it gives me anxiety, like, thinking, standing up there. And I feel like I'm going to have to reiterate throughout this whole journey that, I'm not trying to make it all about me. I'm not trying to upstage the bride. Like, it is her day. I want to be there for her. I just want to feel confident in how I look and how I'm presenting myself, standing up there next to my friend, and I want to feel good about myself. And I feel like I would be doing her a disservice if I was not present fully mentally and emotionally because I was giving time to being worried about how I look. I want to be able to be there fully and not worry like, can you see like my rolls and my dress, and I don't want people to look at me, and like I'm gonna be in pictures, and I don't know how their reception's going to go. I know the ceremony is going to be pretty traditional, and I think Patrick has a pretty big family, so I think there's gonna be like 200 people there. I'm not 100% sure on that number, but there's going to be a lot of people there, including my husband. I mean, I'm assuming that he's going to be invited there. We're all friendly with each other, so including my husband. And I don't know, like when it comes to reception, if the DJ is going to like introduce the bridal party. I don't know. So like, again, I feel guilty because I'm like, oh, like you're trying to make it about you. I'm really not. I'm just, again, I'm trying to, I don't want to, sorry, my hideous bra strap is showing. Um, I want to feel confident, and I want to be there. Physically, mentally, emotionally, be there and not worried about how I look. So I was like, I need a fresh start. I need to revamp my weight loss plan, my weight loss effort. I really need to, because, I've been stagnant the past couple months. I was hovering right around like 245-ish. And I decided, I'm like, I can lose 100 pounds in a year. That was my goal this year. Well, really, my goal was to get below 200 this year, which, it's almost November. I don't think I will be able to get below 200. This year I would have to lose like 20 pounds a month. But so, I'm estimating I'll probably be around 220 by the beginning of 2020. That's a lot of 20s. Um, so I was like, okay, so today is 10/10, and I have a year, and I can lose 2 pounds a week and lose 100 pounds. About. It's like obviously there's 52 weeks in a year, so it's like a little less than 2 pounds a week, but 2 pounds is pretty much 2 pounds a week has always been my goal. And I've decided that, which I don't think I've said this before. I've always been very whatever about like my ultimate goal weight, because I just wanted to weigh less, and getting below 200 really is a huge goal of mine, and I really never saw anything other than that, like less than that. And losing 100 pounds from my biggest, which would put me in the low 160s, that was, I mean, my goal is always to lose 100 pounds. But I've decided, I did like the math, and my ultimate goal weight is 145, because at my height, which I'm just about 5'4", 145 puts me at the very end of the normal range. It actually gives me a BMI of 24.9. So I would be officially a normal weight at 145. So I'm like, 145 is my goal. And I stepped on the scale that day and I weighed 245.2. So I'm like, okay, perfect. Like everything is going perfectly. So ever since then, so it's been, 2 weeks about since then, and I've been doing really well, and I've been trying to stay on track as best as I can. So I'm going to take a little look at my notes and see where I'm at, because I had Oh no. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. I thought I was on the page where I kept my notes, but apparently I really wasn't. So that's why I was really confused. I was like, wait a second, what did I write? This doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, so that's my goal, is to lose 100 pounds over the next year. So, hopefully I'll be close to my goal by 10/10/2020, when I will be walking down the aisle in my best friend's wedding. So I think in the next video that I do, I'm going to get more into exactly what I've been doing, exercise-wise and eating-wise. Basically, I've just been trying to, I haven't binged at all in the past 2 weeks. I have not had any regular soda, I'm pretty sure, in the past 2 weeks. I did have one diet soda. I'm trying to avoid soda in general, but when it comes to, like, sometimes I'll be like, well, instead of getting that food you want, you can get a diet cherry Coke, or you can get a diet root beer, or something like that. And I don't know, in my brain, it like makes me feel like I'm having a treat or something like that. So I try to avoid drinking diet soda and soda in general on a regular basis, but I will like treat myself to one every once in a while. And that's always been my, like, because I'm like, if I'm gonna treat myself, I might as well just treat myself to a regular soda instead of chemicals. Well, all soda has chemicals, but you know what I mean, the artificial sweeteners. um I don't know, that's always been like kind of an up in air debate, because I'm like, is it really worse to have the artificial sweeteners than it is to have like 200 some calories worth of sugar? I don't know. So, but anyway, that's what I've been doing now. I've been focusing more on calories and eating less. I'm not counting calories, but I'm definitely focusing on quantity. Just eating less than what I have been eating, avoiding junk, not eating after dinner, kind of the usual stuff that I do when I'm on track. Um, and then I have been exercising a little bit more, so I'll get more specific into that into the next video. Um, I wanted to more focus on how I've been feeling lately and kind of talk that out and document that. I don't know. Every time I'm doing really well, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before, but every time I am actually, why can't I say that word? Actually doing well, I start to feel mentally and emotionally a little bit worse. My anxiety goes way up, and I don't necessarily feel more depressed, but I do have more negative thoughts going on. So instead of feeling better about myself and feeling more confident, I end up feeling a little bit worse. A lot of that comes from, how I see myself, my self-image. I It's kind of a dirty little secret of mine, I guess. That's the way it feels on the inside. It's like that thing that brings me shame and guilt. And that is the fact that I focus a lot on the aesthetics and on my outward appearance. I know you would be shocked to know that, because I look like shit most of the time. I did try to put on a little bit of makeup today, just a tinted moisturizer. I did my brows. I put on some mascara and some tinted lip balm. I went a little bit of blush. I popped in some earrings, my diamond studs, my Rite Aid diamond studs, and I put on a somewhat nice shirt with my ugly, ugly bra strap showing. And I, have my husband's necklace on. I tried to look a little bit more presentable today. I focus a lot on the aesthetics. And it's always something that I felt very guilty about because I feel like there are more important things in life than how you look, and I should be focusing on my health and how I feel overall, my well-being. But I'm very, very concerned with how I look, and most of the time I feel like I look so bad or I'm so far gone that there's nothing I can do. And I truly believe that staying fat, and I think I have said this before, but staying fat has always been, I mean, it's like a literal wall of protection around me. And I can blame feeling ugly on being fat. And I'm terrified of stripping that away and still feeling ugly or being ugly. Like I'm afraid of being ugly. I think I am ugly and I haven't quite accepted that I'm just not an attractive person. I constantly, I pick at my face. I'm like, my nose is way too big, and my eyes, I always talk about my eyes because my eyes are uneven. Obviously my eyebrows this one's a little bit higher than this one. My earlobes stick out. Obviously I have a lot of fat on my face, and then I'm like worried, like, oh my God, if I lose weight, am I gonna have like loose skin on my face? And so I'm very concerned with how I look, and I use being overweight as a way to hide away and a way to, say I'm unattractive because I'm fat. If I wasn't fat, I would be pretty. And I am terrified and my teeth are a whole different story, which is actually sad because I did have braces growing up, and yeah. I'm terrified of learning that I'm actually ugly, and like I am actually ugly, and that I am actually a terrible person and everything else. So like that's why I get scared. Like I stop myself from when I'm doing well. I'm like, well, what if this and what if that? And my overall body, which another good thing, do I want to do a full body shot? That would require me to, let's see. Scooting the chair. I mean, I don't know, you can't really see. I'll do a full body shot at some point. Get my curtain back up. sorry. Always sorry. My body shape is not ideal, in my opinion. I was not blessed with a feminine body, and I always hesitate talking about this kind of stuff because I don't want to offend somebody else. I truly believe, I think you should be happy with how you look, and if you are happy with how you look, then don't change a thing. Don't feel like you need to change a thing. I feel like all body types are or can be beautiful, and it definitely comes from how you present yourself, your personal style, how you dress, and beauty and confidence that comes from the inside. I do believe in all that. So that's why it's hard for me to talk about this stuff, because I always feel like I'm going to offend somebody else, and I don't mean to. So, like, if you look like me, if you have a body that looks like me, and is like, oh, well, I guess I'm disgusting because she looks like me and she thinks she's disgusting. Um, I just know from the bottom of my heart that I don't mean that. Like, I don't mean to offend anybody. It is just, this is how I feel about me and my body. So I feel like I always describe it as like a hodgepodge of random parts, and I've kind of gotten the worst of, like, people always joke about like beautiful people and they say, oh, they won the lottery. I feel like I lost the genetic lottery. I mean, I know, again, let me just get through this part and then I'll get into the apologizing later. Um, and I don't mean overall, I just mean like specifically like between my mom and my dad. Because like my dad's side of the family, the women, as far as I know my grandmother was bigger on the bottom, smaller on top. Very hippie, wide hips. My mom's side of the family were always very narrow through the hip and bigger on top. I got the worst of both of that. I'm small on top and I'm narrow on the bottom as well. And I kind of have a bigger, fuller chest, like rib cage, and you can see like my shoulders um, come up pretty high. Like I don't have a long neck or anything like that. But my cup size is not, so I'm like big around, but my cup size does not match that or reflect that. So, like, the only reason, I wear pretty much a B cup now, and the only reason that I, you know, am that large is because I'm over 100 pounds, 100 pounds overweight. So, like, I wasn't, blessed or whatever, with, you know, I'm not busty, but all the women, like both my sisters and my mom, are fairly busty. They're not like huge, but they're, full C, small D, that type of thing. And I'm struggling to fill a B cup when I'm like 44 inches around. So I've always been very, very self-conscious of that. And I've always been narrow, broader in the shoulder and narrower in the hip. And I'm also knock-kneed, so my knees go in a little bit, and it's worse because I'm overweight. And even like my wrists, like you can see, I'm like trying to see, um, my wrists, my hands, like my mom and my older sister have like these dainty little, like they always say they're ugly because their hands are kind of bony looking. Um, but they have these dainty little hands, dainty little wrists. They're a size 7 in the shoe. I'm like a 9.5 in the shoe. Like I just feel like I got the short end of the stick when it comes to the genetics in my family. And it's something that I kind of obsess over and I kind of pick at it. So I have this overwhelming feeling of ugliness, being ugly, and it's not my weight, it's my body. So even if I lose weight, I'm still going to look awful, I'm still going to be ugly. And then right behind that comes the guilt for feeling that way. You should be happy. You should be grateful for how you look. You should be grateful that you're able-bodied and you're mostly healthy. And yeah, the body of a goddess doesn't run in your family, but neither does diabetes and heart problems and high blood pressure and general sicknesses and illnesses and diseases. And all your grandparents or the people in your family who have since passed on, they all made it to their mid to late 80s. Like you have a good chance of living a long healthy life. You can see fine, you can hear fine, you can you're fairly intelligent. That's another thing. I think I'm actually an idiot, but like I go through this yin and yang of hating how I look, hating who I am, hating how my body is, hating everything about me, and then feeling extremely guilty because it's like, how can you be so shallow? How can you be so self absorbed? How can you be like nothing else matters except for the way you look? There are so many other things that you should be putting your time and energy into, and it's a struggle. It's a struggle mentally to get my it's a struggle to get my head in a good space to be successful at weight loss. And it's funny, I was feeling really, really bad on Sunday. Um, because the other thing, so that's like negative thinking, but I also mentioned that my anxiety gets a lot worse. And that's because I've always had this feeling like, because if I'm doing well, that means something terrible has to happen. Because it's always when things are going great that something terrible happens. So again, it's like a defense mechanism in my head that if I keep myself down here, I don't have very far to fall if something happens. If the higher I go, the farther I have to fall if something terrible happens. And I was having just the worst anxiety on Sunday, like really bad. And the worst I felt in a while. And I'm like, oh God, like, why is this still a thing? I've been doing so well. And I always chalk it up to that. Like, you're afraid something terrible is going to happen because you're doing well. Um, and I realized I was like, you're also taking away or consuming a lot less the one thing that makes you feel better. And it was weird that I had never come to that conclusion before. I was like, had like a, well, duh kind of moment, because I'm like, doesn't that make sense that you're feeling worse when you're taking away the thing that you use as a drug to help you feel better? And after I came to that conclusion, I was like, oh, sorry. I realize I'm not quite centered. After I came to that conclusion, I actually felt a little bit better because it felt like it was temporary, like it was going to pass. Like the way I was feeling was more towards, or more because of like withdrawal from not binging and not consuming the foods that make me feel good. Um, and it gave me more confidence because I'm like, okay, I can get through this. I just have to keep going. So, and then yesterday happened. My husband got in a car accident yesterday. He's totally fine. Our car is not. And it wasn't a brand new car. It was a 2017 Toyota RAV4. It's the car, he did research on the car. He knew exactly what he wanted. He kept his eye out. One dealership, said that they had one and it was exactly what he wanted. Went up there, got it. He was so proud of this car. He loved this car. Again, we don't have a ton of money, so we can't, like, a brand new RAV4 we could never afford. Like, we could, but it would be way, like, we would be hurting, we would be struggling. And he was like, it's lower, because he had a Mazda 3 that he bought brand new 3 years ago, and but it was a stick. He likes driving stick. I am unfortunately a very stereotypical girl and I cannot drive stick. I know a lot of girls who can, so that's again, no offense to anybody, but I cannot drive stick. I've tried. It makes me way too anxious. So, he was like, I really need to trade in my car for something that you can drive. So when winter comes, I feel better. knowing you're in a safe car. The RAV is a very safe car, and thank God, because I think my husband is unscathed from his accident yesterday, and that had a lot to do with all the airbags that deployed. Um, so he loved this car. He was so proud of this car, and yeah, he was coming home from work yesterday, and a woman decided to turn left, so she was in the opposite. She was in the turn lane opposite of him. The lights were green. He was going straight, and she decided to turn left in front of him. And he said he tried to swerve into the next lane and slam on his brakes, swerve into the next lane to avoid hitting her. And he slammed. She was driving a actually brand new, I think, a Chevy Colorado. That's who makes Colorados, right? So he slammed right into her back. It would have been her back right tire. And it's total. He completely, the whole front of his car is caved in, airbags deployed, and he's just like, it's gone. And we had it a couple months, and it's gone. Again, a very, very, I don't know how he feels today. He's fine. He went to work, and he said he's fine. I don't know if he's sore or anything like that. But, oops, sorry. I was seeing if I could check the time. Hold on. Okay, we're still good. He's fine physically. He was very upset yesterday, very, very upset yesterday. And when he called me at work and was like, well, we don't have a nice new car anymore. It's gone. And I was like, see, I freaking knew it. I freaking knew that something terrible was going to happen. No, I don't actually believe that, that this accident was caused by me losing a couple pounds. That's not, I know that's not true, but I know it's just a coincidence, and I'm pretty much anxious all the time, so any bad thing could be related to the crazy thoughts in my head. But so I very quickly reminded myself, like, no, that's not true. That's not, it's just a coincidence. Yes, it sucks because you were feeling that way and then something terrible did happen, but it's not because you're doing well. It's just something that happened. So, I didn't go into a binge or anything like that. I did eat. We ate a little bit later last night, and I did make some comfort food. I made a very rich, very creamy, delicious fish chowder with, I cooked up bacon, so there was bacon grease and crumbled crispy bacon bits in there, which was great. I put some cheddar cheese in there. It was very, very good. And we had some biscuits. So we ate a richer, I didn't eat, I only had one bowl. I didn't eat, there's actually a lot left. And I had a couple biscuits. And so I figured it probably affect my weight today. I did weigh in today. So when I weighed in on 10:10, sorry, I'm like, didn't I already do this? I know I talked about weighing in on 10:10, but I didn't talk about my current weight. So when I weighed in on 10:10, I was 245.2, like I said. So I knew I had to lose, and my goal is to lose 2 pounds per week. So by today, I should be 241.2. Yes, because it's been 2 weeks, so that would be 4 pounds. And Monday, because I originally was going to record this on Monday, but that didn't happen. And I was at 240.8. I was very excited about that, but I was like, that's not my official weigh-in, because my official weigh-in is going to be when I do my video. I'm doing my video on Wednesday. So my official Wednesday weigh-in was 241.4. So I was point 0.2 away from my goal. Um, it's whatever. Like, I was hoping, because I saw the 240 on Monday, that it would at least be the same as that, but 241.4. So, I mean, good news. I'm officially down 20 pounds from my highest. Finally, it's only been 10 months into the year, but I am officially down 20 pounds. And so that's something. It still doesn't feel like, oh, that's a lot of weight. You know, it still doesn't feel like I've lost anything. I'm not really seeing. I had one woman who I sing with say to me one day, like, boy, you look like you're losing weight. And I said, yeah, I've lost a little bit of weight. And then a couple of my pants, like my stretch pants, the only thing I really wear, my stretch leggings and my capri leggings, some of them are starting to get a little baggy. But other than that, I really haven't felt a huge change physically or in my clothes. So still have, still have a ways to go, still have a while to go, and I'm trying to be patient and just keep doing what I'm doing and just focus on one day at a time, 1 week at a time. I've gotten to the point where I truly feel fed up. I feel tired of feeling the way that I feel, and the desire to lose weight is becoming stronger than my anxiety and doubt surrounding losing weight. And I'm like, I don't know what my body looks like. I complain about my body, but honestly, I don't know what it looks like, because I've always had a lot of fat on my body. So I'm like, don't knock it just yet. Like, don't hate yourself just yet. Like, let's see what happens. Lose 100 pounds and then see how you feel. One of these days, I think I have some pictures from when I was younger and when I was at like a healthy weight, and I think I might show them and do like more of like the story of me, my whole journey, my whole battle with weight ever since I was a little kid, and show some pictures. Yeah, I might do that. Anyway, I think I'm pretty much done. I think I pretty much have said everything I wanted to say, not as eloquently as I wanted to say, but that never happens. So let me just take a quick peek at my notes to make sure that I said what I wanted to say, and it never goes the way I planned. I'm just going to go ahead and end it. Anything I didn't say today, I will just catch up on in the next video. So thank you for watching, and have a great day. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you. Oh, I guess I should figure out when I actually want to upload, because I was like, I'm going to upload on Monday, but I'm like, I eat a little bit more on the weekends, so that might not be good. And I was like, okay, I'll do Wednesday, and I'm like, well, I eat a little bit later on Tuesdays, so that might not be good. So either I'm gonna have to do it either Tuesday morning or Thursday morning, maybe Friday morning. I'll figure it out, but it will definitely be a once a week thing. All right, thank you, and have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.